We've reached the halfway point of the season. I think we've definitely gotten our money's worth for the NFL this year. You know, Kevin, I'm Brandon. We have a special guest with us in the studio today. My old coworker's with us. What's up, Justice? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourselves?
Doing all right.
All righty, cool
What's
beans.
your What's your team? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Obviously my name's Justice. I'm a big New York Jets fan. You don't find too many of us around here. Yeah, I'm a big New York Jets fan. I'm a Mets fan for baseball as well. College football, I actually like Texas, to be honest with you, but they're a disaster as far as I'm concerned. But that's for another day. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I work at IHOP, I'm a manager. You know, I love my sports, and so every time I get an opportunity to talk, I'm gonna do just that and get my voice heard.
So we typically start with what we call a 2-minute drive. Like we usually get like, you know, our thoughts in on our teams, but both of our teams on a bye week. So real quick, how do you feel about the Jets? This is probably the best run that y'all've been on since what, 2010 or something like that?
Yeah,
How do you
absolutely.
feel?
And it's kind of a little scary for me, to be honest with you, because there are certain ways to win football games, and right now our defense is playing great, but we're winning despite our offense. You don't really want to win
Yeah.
just one side of the football, you know. So that's kind of scary a little bit to me. But I just love the way this line is playing. I love the way our offensive linemen getting into the game. They're actually doing work. I just love what we're doing right now as far as that's concerned. But the quarterback play has got to drastically improve.
Yeah. That was my next question. How do you feel about Zach Wilson, Mr. Milf Hunter?
But I think that's actually sometimes the problem with some of these small schools. They don't really face real competition. So when you get to the league and these guys, it's like one level of college ball, then there's the super level of college ball, and then there's NFL. And
Yeah.
you just get that super level of college ball and you're going straight to NFL type of guys. And the speed is so fast that I think he's having a real hard time adjusting to game speed. And a lot of decisions are rushed because of that.
Absolutely. Y'all got our old backup. I mean, our old quarterback up there, our Super Bowl winner, Joe Flacco. Y'all can keep him though, but you'll see.
Yeah,
Y'all
y'all go ahead and keep check down Joe.
Yeah, man, my God. It was those first games. Oh my God. I was like, please, I'd rather you turn the ball over than to watch this.
Yeah. I do like y'all rookie running back. Unfortunately, he got injured because I was think he was on the path to rookie of the year offensive side.
It was already set and done before that.
That was tragic loss there.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the guys, they're about to sand off on a number of games, but before that, let's recap everything that happened over the past few days. Of course, the Panthers, they beat the Falcons in rainy North Carolina on Thursday night. Titans, they handled the Broncos. Chiefs were all over the Jaguars there in Kansas City. Dolphins, they crushed the Browns in South Beach. Giants, they handed the Texans another loss. Mike Tomlin, he's now defeated every possible opponent after a win over the Saints on Sunday afternoon. Colts beat the Raiders in the debut of Jeff Saturday as interim head coach on Sunday. Cardinals over the Rams. 49ers came back to beat the Chargers. And the Eagles, they suffered their first loss of 2022 thanks to the Commanders. Kevin's Bears, they fell just short of their fourth win after another loss at Soldier Field. Meanwhile, Detroit is in second place in the NFC North. That's right, I said it. Did not mess up there. Detroit, y'all, is in the second place of the NFC North. Kevin?
I mean, we have no weapons. Justice Fields, he can't be our leading passer and our leading rusher. It just can't. It doesn't go that way. I mean, the kid's good. The kid's got talent, but when he's running for his life every single snap, and because your offensive line, can't stop baby with a blanket, it's bad. I mean, when you're looking at the stats, and he's 12 for 20 with 167 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception, but then he's sacked 3 times. And then you look at the rushing, and he's our lead rusher for 13 rushes for 147 yards. I mean, they got to figure out a way of getting David Montgomery in there. They got to figure out a way of getting Khalil Herbert in there.
Yep.
Yeah, they had a couple of rushes themselves, but They can't be all falling on Justice. And the fact of the matter is that our defense can't stop anybody. And they just can't. I don't know what happened. Beginning of the year, defense was playing lights out. First 3 games, first 3 games of the season, man, they were playing lights out. While and all of a sudden it seemed like Justin Fields got his feet wet and got a feel for the game. Now everybody else forgot to stop playing. I mean, and I'm not putting anything about Detroit. Hell, they played a hell of a game. Golf did his thing, 236 yards. He put 31 on the board. And their defense did what they needed to do to win. And we snatched defeat from the jaws of victory once again. That's really all I can say about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's sad. I'm gonna talk about Detroit for a second. I was what they would call a fly at a barbecue. That's what the Detroit barbecue. They're always going on everybody's nerves. Nobody wants them around, and they just hang in there. And that's just what Detroit. Yeah. You make a mistake, the fly's gonna land on your food. Yeah. And that's okay. The Detroit line, too many mistakes by the Bears. Justin Fields, that pick six, that was a ball that can never be thrown. So there's simple mistakes like that. And I'm also seeing, if I'm watching this game tape, because I like to do DFS, so game tape is essential for me. His fundamentals is a little off. When he delivers his throws, sometimes he's off platform in the pocket, and that's why some throws is going away. Now he has nobody to help him, even if it's the ball that's slightly to the left. There's nobody out there. Darnell Mooney, 3 at best. Chase Claypool, he had half of a year in Pittsburgh, and that
he's done nothing. He's done nothing. Did nothing for Pittsburgh. He's done nothing for Chicago.
He would just go up and get him, and he was like, "You get 3 touchdowns on fantasy." And he's like, "Oh my God, he's somebody." No, hey, that's the problem. And so I think that's wasting draft picks. So at the end of the day, you just have to look at what do you want to be as an offense for the Bears? What's your identity? Because David Montgomery is overrated. I'm sorry, he really is. Thought he was going to be a lot better than what he is. Now you can say offensive line or not, but there's a guy by the name of Dameon Pierce in Houston. Their offensive line is horrible, but he is still finding ways to get it done. And so I think he's kind of overrated. I think they should go to Khalil Herbert a little bit more explosiveness, take some pressure off the fields, do things like that. I love what Cole Kmet brought that game. He was amazing out there. He really did some good things. And did he get hurt? Because I thought he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt in the third quarter and never came back in.
Exactly. So that's going to be a real pending issue in itself right there. And so we'll see how this goes forward. But that's just what it is.
Right. And I can understand where you're coming from with that. But when your offensive line can't even block, there's no holes. I don't care who you have back there. They ain't getting any yards.
Right. You're right about that. And you make a good point about that. But there's something to be said. It's just there's an it factor. Like Khalil Herbert has a little it factor.
I know. I like Herbert. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I like Herbert. I like Montgomery.
It's just different. It's more like he's like a poor man's Tony Pollard, for real, to be honest with you, the way that they could really use him to be like that with David Montgomery being like an Ezekiel Elliott. If they use those 2 backs to that type of standard, then maybe you can start to work on something. But yeah, you have to fix that offensive line. That has to be addressed in the draft.
Well, that will require coaching intelligence, which we haven't seen in about 40 years.
Oh, y'all got a better coach now than Nagy.
Oh God, Nagy. Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm a long-standing Bears sufferer.
Y'all say about Nagy, he got Mitchell Trubisky to the playoffs with no way.
Oh Lord, we got another Mitchell Trubisky supporter.
No.
He destroyed Trubisky though.
I'm messing with you.
Of him, I'm saying they were bad, and how they made the playoffs that year, even though they went to New Orleans and got the dust beat off them, is that to even make the playoffs. I mean, you got to.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a coordinator. He's not a coach. I'll
True.
give you. He's a coordinator, but to say like it was complete dumpster, there was a disconnect between him and the front office, and that was the main disaster that took place on the field. You saw their beef took place manifested on the field.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, a couple of points I got. I like that big tackle you came out first with the Lions, Justice. Aiden Hutchinson, that goal line stop, that was a very good play there. I did like that. And Jeff Okuda, one of my very young corners that I like to watch. Great interception there as well. In the fourth quarter, helped tie the game there. But this was the first time since 1973 that the Lions scored on a passing, rushing, and interception return for a touchdown in the game. So, but I mean, both these teams honestly are playing a lot better than I think most people expected for sure. Their records obviously don't, necessarily show that, but I think they're both on the right path. I don't know how much longer Jared Goff will be in town, but if you're a Bears fan, you got to be confident with at least the ability of Justin Fields to make plays. He's doing what he has to do to win games.
He needs a line.
Yeah, for sure.
And he
But-
needs weapons.
Yeah, and I said
like-
that coming into the year. I definitely agree there.
they need to get a weapon immediately.
OBJ.
No, not that immediately.
No, you don't need a headache. He needs a weapon.
Not that immediately.
All right. Turning the page, the first ever game in Germany left TB12 with a 4-0 record in international games. The Bucks have won 2 straight. Justice?
Man, those Bucks, man, I don't trust them at all, man. I don't trust them at all. I mean, they're playing in a crappy division. Their schedule, they got a bye, then they got at Cleveland, the Saints, or I call them the Aints, because they ain't worth nothing.
Especially this year, yeah. Last couple of years, actually.
They ain't worth it. Okay. Even when they had Drew Brees, I just never believed the hype because they will always let you down. But anyway,
Yeah.
so at San Francisco, that game, I think they're gonna. That's gonna really tell you if Tampa Bay has turned the corner. To be honest with you, because the Seahawks, I mean, they got rookies out there. Geno Smith, I mean, the penalties killed Seattle. Geno was awful for 3 quarters. They're fumbling the ball. I mean, it was just. I mean, they basically say, here you go for 3 quarters and handing them the football. I was concerned about that fourth quarter, though. I was concerned about how Seattle figured something out and started moving the ball a little bit better. And I was like, there's some issues back there. That secondary, there's a lot of disconnect. So I want to see how that manifests over these next few games. But the Buccaneers, Tom Brady, good pass, Julio Jones, touchdown. But Ricard White, I really like him. They really have to use him more. He's a really good weapon to have. And him and Fournette, again, like a Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott. I think the league is going to this more 2-back system to really try to preserve these backs.
True.
Because and spending a lot of money on these guys, and they're always hurt with these one, like Derrick Henry. If he goes out, there's a disaster over there. Absolute disaster. So I think this 2-back system that they can really develop in Tampa Bay will also ease off the pressure off of Tom Brady, and they can really go and do some big things.
One thing I have to say is when you're playing football, any type of football, whether it's juvie, whether it's college, pros, you got to convert on 3rd down.
Absolutely.
You have to.
Very good point.
Seahawks were 1 for 9 in 3rd down,
Yep.
where the
Yep.
Bucks were 10 for 15. Now the Seahawks were 2 for 2 on a 4th down conversion. But when you have 19 first downs to your opponents, to the Buccaneers 26 first downs, when you have 244 yards to the Buccaneers 258, okay, it's you're not going to win.
And most of those yards
And turnovers. I mean, and the funny thing about it too, the Bucks had turned over the ball more because they had 2 turnovers. Seattle had 1. But the Buccaneers' time of possession was literally 16 minutes and 50 seconds more than the Seattle. There you go. I mean, if you can't convert, you're not going to win. They got to figure that out. They got to be more efficient on their third down conversions than that. One for
think-
9.
Yeah, I think when they got Noah Fant, I think that they thought that was going to solve a lot of those problems, and that worked out so well with that. I don't know what the heck happened to him in Denver. He was all right. He came over here and he is just disappeared. This offense is really built for tight ends. I mean, even when Jimmy Graham was kind of good, he went over there and have that much success. So I think that offense isn't really fit for that type of tight end to really do what he does. And I think that's that could be an issue later on down the road if you real security blanket for Geno Smith, because those outside guys, when you get to the playoffs, they got 2 guys that can cover your 2 guys.
Yeah.
Your weapon, it means, do you have a third guy? That's a real deal. Do Seattle have a real third guy?
And it doesn't get any easier because they've got the Raiders this week. Then they're at the Rams.
The Raiders.
Yeah, they got it. What's that?
You think the Raiders are a threat?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
Niggas
their
crap.
schedule. I'm saying after this.
Okay.
It's the Raiders, the Rams, the Panthers. Okay, they'll probably win at least 2 of those.
They might win all 3.
They might all win 3. But then you got the 40. Then you're home against the 49ers, at the Chiefs, at the Jets, then back home against the Rams.
That's where it starts to get competitive. Chiefs and Jets
Right, that's what I'm saying.
and
So
Niners.
So but those 3 games are going to determine, is Seattle for real?
Yeah.
Are they a perennial playoff team, or is it all just smoke and mirrors?
Got a side note for you. Geno Smith in cold weather games under 40 degrees, 1-7.
Oh,
Wow.
When
that's
they
a very good nugget.
cold,
He
Geno,
gets to go.
even in West Virginia, when the weather changed, he changed.
Yeah.
It's a completely different human being.
Yeah.
Smith, hey, look, watch out for these cold weather games now. It's not going to.
Okay. Very good point. But I got to give a shout out to Julio Jones. Probably had his best game of the season. I like that touchdown pass. He was wide the hell open, barely.
Was he on the
got
field?
touched there.
Yeah, can you believe it? I was shocked too.
Yeah, Julio Jones was out there.
Unicorn, man. He finally showed up.
Yeah, he did. They finally got him the ball.
They finally
But
made
look-
him. They finally made him earn his money.
Right.
Brady 2-0 since that divorce. No matter what, he 2-0 since that divorce. So
Jesus God.
look out, y'all.
Yo, look.
All right, well,
So I already know how that is. Trust
well, we're halfway through the show, just in time for halftime headlines with Brandon. What you got for us, Brandon?
All right, a couple things making headlines, y'all. Rating Offensive Player of the Year, Cooper Kupp. It looks like he's headed to the IR. The wideout injured his ankle in Sunday's loss. Colts linebacker Shaq Leonard, he's done for the year. The Pro Bowl linebacker underwent successful back surgery on Tuesday. And wide receiver Amari Rodgers, he's a free agent. The 2021 third-round draft pick had 5 fumbles this season, including 4 on punt returns, and he had 1 on Sunday versus Dallas. All right, so Maryland football had a big game over the weekend against Penn State. Kevin's got touchdown Terps. Set the scene for us.
Well, let's see. After a 3-hour bus ride turns into a 6-hour nightmare road trip, things did not get any easier once the Terps finally did arrive in Happy Valley. They fell 30-0 over the 14th ranked Nittany Lions of Penn State. Terps just they couldn't get anything going on offense, couldn't get anything going on defense. The Lions were up 27-0 by halftime, and it seemed to be playing their backups at the beginning of the second half. Unfortunately, things don't get any easier as the 6-4 Terps face the 10-0 Ohio State Buckeyes coming into College Park. And the Terps pulled the Athletic and State Bowl eligible. Well, we're going to find out. Kickoff is 3:30 on Saturday from CQ Stadium in College Park. Now, one thing I do want to do, I do want to offer my condolences, and I do want to offer my my sincere sympathy to the 3 UVA college football players that were killed over the weekend in a senseless shooting. They do have the shooter in custody. Also, two other students were shot. One's fighting for their life. The other one seems to be in stable condition. My hearts go out and prayers go out to them and their family. We got to do something about this senseless violence, guys. Something's got to be done.
Yeah, definitely a tough situation there in Charlottesville. Thoughts and prayers with the families there and the entire UVA community there. All right, you're listening to the Purple Huddle podcast with Kevin and our special guest, Justice. They're calling it the game of the year. Minnesota went into Buffalo and won an overtime thriller. Kevin?
Yeah. This game was back and forth. Cousins versus Allen. It was a thriller. It seemed like no one could sustain the upper hand. Now, one thing I will say is you do have some controversy in this game in that fourth quarter pass. Was it a catch? Wasn't it a catch? That's what led up to the tying field goal. You have your guys on TV, you got your announcers and your pundits saying he was fumbling the ball on the way down. Then all of a sudden they review it and they're upholding it as a catch. Is that what caused Buffalo the game? No, I mean there's other plays too. Could that have cost Minnesota the game? Absolutely, because going down there and kicking that field goal, if they couldn't have stopped them on the field goal and they get a touchdown, it's game over. But I'll give it to Josh Allen, 29 for 43, 330 yards. But man, is he getting flustered out there? This is not the Josh Allen we've seen in these matches. He's getting flustered. He's getting reckless with the ball. I don't know what's going on with him, but they need to sit him down and try to talk to him, because without him at the helm doing good, this Buffalo team's going to fall apart.
Absolutely. Let me tell you a little bit about Josh Allen. All right. Let me break this to you. You know what I call Josh Allen? I think Josh Allen is this generation's Phillip Rivers. Okay. He gets when Phillip Rivers was at his top tier apex, he was like, oh wow. Oh my goodness. He could really wow. But when the lights are the brightest, he finds a way. All right. He's going back to his Wyoming days, the days where he was just running around, and because of he was deprived of talent that he had to do that. But then Brian Daboll, when he was his offensive coordinator, showed him that the guys you have are weapons and they work. Mm-hmm. So you just get these guys the ball in simple situations, they could make the simple extraordinary.
Yes.
With Brian Daboll now being gone and Ken Dorsey now the offensive coordinator over there, he's reverting back into his ways, because I don't know if Ken Dorsey, he looks good smashing tablets, but at the end of the day, can you calm your quarterback down? He hasn't played a complete game of football the entire season.
Yeah.
The entire season, he hasn't played one single complete game of football. It's been one half good, one half horrific, one half, oh my goodness, and half, oh my goodness, is get Case ready, get Case Keenum ready to get in this game. Okay, so it's a real Jekyll and Hyde that you get from Josh Allen. How that is the Super Bowl favorite, I have no idea still to this day.
Yeah.
But that's to be another story. But give Minnesota a little credit. Give Kirk Cousins a little credit. Justin Jefferson is him. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. And the Vikings should have got one valuable lesson from this game. Give Dalvin Cook the ball, please.
Yes.
Please get the ball.
And pray you don't get hurt.
Yes. It's ridiculous. Give the man
and trust in Justin Jefferson. Because that dude's
they definitely do trust in him, man. It's like every time he goes out there, he just double-digit catches and well over 100 yards receiving. I mean, this guy is just a freak.
Y'all think TJ Hawkins is living life right now?
Funny. I thought Buffalo should have went and got him. I think he'd have been perfect for Buffalo. I that would have solidified everything that you needed with Josh Allen to make sure that he doesn't make those big boo-boos, because Dawson Knox can't control the middle of the field like TJ Hawkinson could. If they would have gotten him, a lot of these mistakes that you see Josh Allen would have making wouldn't have been made, because you got the body there in the middle of the field to really hold that position.
Yeah.
He's working him in because that's how Jefferson is still getting open. That's how Thielen was wide open. Like,
Yeah.
because there are people in the middle of the field occupying space.
Yep. Shout out though to Patrick Peterson though, 2 interceptions. He had another with a bigger interception against Arizona as well. Good to see him out there balling out as well. Mike McCarthy got to Lambeau Field at 9:00 on Sunday, and he left with a loss about 12 hours later. Green Bay snapped a 5-game losing streak. Kevin?
Dallas versus the Packers. Okay. This game actually surprised me. I thought for sure Dallas was just going to blow him completely out of the water. I thought that Aaron Rodgers was pretty much done, that he was on his back knee, just pretty much had everything backed up. But he proved that he wasn't going to go into that good night. I mean, 14 for 20, 224 yards, 11.2 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, and then you have Dallas. Somebody, when are they going to realize? Just keep giving Pollard the ball.
That's what every
When-
Cowboys fan wants.
When is Dallas going to realize you can't have him Dak throwing 46, 50 times a game? It's not going to work. Okay, granted, he went 265, 3 touchdowns, but then he threw 2 boneheaded interceptions. Give Pollard the ball. Give Zeke the ball. Then open up that passing game for Lamb and Dalton Schultz down the field. Okay? I mean, hell, even Pollard. It's almost like they don't want to use the talent they have in the way they need to use it. And Green Bay, where was that team all year? I mean, it was like Rodgers that kept saying, "Screw it, throw it," and just said, "Screw it. I'm not gonna care," and you threw it up in the air until somebody grab it. And that's exactly what Christian Watson did 3 times. 3 touchdowns. Hell, even Sammy Watkins got into the game with 3 received for 47 yards. I didn't even think he was in the league anymore. But I mean, if you really want to the team stats, this is how close this was. Okay, so it was a 3-point game. First downs, Dallas had 24, Green Bay had 20. Total plays, Dallas had 79, Green Bay had 61. Time of possession, this is where it gets interesting. Dallas had Green Bay had 18 less plays, but they had the ball. It was 6 minutes longer than Dallas. I don't know what to make of it. And then you have 421 total yards for Dallas to 415 for Green Bay. It's like Green Bay decided we'll play less and score more. It's exactly what it seemed like. It's like we're just gonna say screw it, we'll do what we gotta do, and it's like Aaron Rodgers did. All right, let's just go out and have fun, and they did, and they won.
Well, I think the talk about Zeke is important needs to stop now. Okay? I think this game proves that. All right? You want to give Tony Pollard the ball 30 times, that sounds lovely in theory. But what sets up those Tony Pollard explosive runs is those hard, nasty 3-yard cloud of dust plays, okay? Mm-hmm. When you don't have that, the Cowboys are now 2-dimensional. They know you either give them the ball to Tony Pollard, or we might as well let Dak try to sling it 50 times. And guess what happens when Dak tries to sling it 50 times? It usually doesn't end well.
Yeah.
Okay? It hardly ever ends well, as a matter of fact. So the thing about that is Zeke is important to Dallas. And it's in the penalties, I mean, my God, I mean, the penalties are ridiculous. the holding call that basically could have pretty much won him the game when Tony Pollard got loose, and it got called back for holding. And then it was just a litany of just errors and lapses of judgment by coaching and personnel that really cost Dallas the game. And give Green Bay some credit, okay? Aaron looked good. He finally trusted one of his young receivers, Christian Watson. He really trusted him to really get open. And you could see by the way he was throwing the ball to him with a reckless abandon. Before, it was like he was trying to place the ball in there, just make sure the kids get it. Now he's saying, I'm just going to do me. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. And I think that's kind of the attitude he should have kind of had all along. And then they ran the heck out of Dallas. Dallas run defense got severely exposed. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, they just ran up the middle. Dillon was like 8 yards a carry. Aaron Jones like 9 yards. I mean, it was a astronomical number that those are putting up on the ground. And that's a real issue, especially in the division that Dallas has, which is Philly. They run the ball. The Giants, they run the ball. The Commanders, they run the ball. Okay, you got 3 teams in your division that are run-heavy teams, and you can't stop the run. That sounds like a big old problem to me.
And the Commander knocked off Philly last night, so
Absolutely. So like everybody is game in that division, and you can't stop the run. Now you're not even in the division lead anymore because you had a chance to control your destiny if you took care of business and Philly lost. You got Philly plus the game against them. You control your destiny for the division. You really think you're gonna be able to go on the road and stop somebody from? You can't stop the run, and you're gonna go on the road and win in the playoffs? I don't think so.
Yeah. And they got Minnesota next week too. So
they're gonna get killed.
Yep.
Yeah, their remaining schedule does not look good.
They will lose at least 17 points. They're gonna get blown out.
Look, I'm saying if you look at their remaining schedule, it does not bode well for them at all. Did you figure November 20th? They got what? They got Philly this week, right?
No, they got Minnesota. Then
they got Minnesota.
The
then
Giants
they got,
on Thanksgiving, I believe.
Right, they got the Giants on Thanksgiving. Then they're what's up?
Nah, I'm trying to see my joy messing up.
Then they're at the Cowboys. And then they're home against the Colts, home against the Texans. That shouldn't be nothing. Jaguars, you don't know. It depends on how they play. But then they ended on Christmas. But then Christmas Eve, they're home against the Eagles. That game right there, if they win the games they should win, that game right there is going to determine if Dallas is for real. Because there you go. There's the team you need to beat to take your division.
Honestly, I think they're going to lose that game to the Texans for real because they can't stop Damian Pierce. They can't stop the run. They're going to march all over them.
And the Texans normally play them good.
And they play them good. They're going to that game. So you talk that one.
I mean, realistically, they could lose their last 4 games. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They will be out of it, and they'll be done, and then they'll be like, Dallas is the same.
Yeah. All right. So Derp, he has a special message. He couldn't make it today, but he and Cowboys Nation, they have something they want to say to Dan Quinn. They want Micah Parsons to be rushing on 90% of his plays. Apparently, he had his worst day ever as a rusher on Sunday, as he was lined up on the edge only 10 out of 61 snaps. That's from resident Cowboys fan and co-host Derp, Mr. Cowboy himself. All right, looking ahead to week 11, everyone. It will begin on Thursday night. Titans at Packers on Thursday Night Football. They're at Lambeau. Bears at Falcons. Browns at Bills. Eagles, they'll travel to Indianapolis for a battle with the Colts. Patriots will host the Jets. Rams at Saints. Lions at Giants. They're at MetLife. Panthers at Ravens, fresh off a bye week. And the late slate there on Sunday afternoon, Raiders and Broncos, they'll start that late window again. Cowboys at Vikings. Bengals at Steelers. Chargers will host the Chiefs on Sunday night. That game was flexed in, by the way. And it all ends on Monday night when the 49ers take on the Cardinals in Mexico. Kevin, which game will be on your TV Sunday afternoon? And give us your bold prediction for week 11.
Well, the game that'll be on my TV, of course, is going to be the Ravens. I love my boys. They're actually 12 points favorite going against the Panthers this week.
It's Bake.
Yep, got big bake. And and a lot of the fantasy teams have Lamar as a QB1 this week.
Okay.
Going against them. Definitely that's going to be one there. I'll be streaming my Bears on my phone.
Okay.
It's my Bears. Watching probably lose to the Falcons, so I can cry. But nonetheless, my bold prediction. My bold prediction is the Lions knock off the Giants this week.
Okay.
They're gonna continue the momentum because I picked them before as my bold prediction, and when I said they were going to beat Green Bay, and they did it, I'm gonna ride with them again. They're gonna beat the Giants this week.
All right, so of course I'm gonna have my Jets on my TV. We playing the Patriots. Please kill them.
Do me a favor, beat
No.
Belichick's ass.
Please,
Please.
I hope so.
I am tired of hearing about how they have the Jets
Oh, no.
number.
Zach Wilson, just please don't turn the ball over. That's all. I
But I am so sick of them saying, "Oh, Belichick's the Jets kryptonite." Beat his ass.
Please. The game that interests me the most, honestly, is Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh is going to give every bit of hell that they can imagine because TJ Watt is back. The last time TJ Watt was on the field before the Saints game was against the Bengals, and he wreaked havoc against them.
True.
He destroyed their game plan. There is no Jamar Chase either, who destroyed them. So, I mean, and it's in Pittsburgh. It's going to be chilly. It's going to be nice and cold, a little frigid, a little ground pound ball. Joe Mixon had that heck of a day, albeit against a Carolina defense that couldn't stop a row of ants from marching in the end.
Yep.
Nevertheless, upset special right here. Browns 8.5 over the Bills. I got them winning the game outright.
Nice.
Go to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb, Team Hunt, ground game. They can't stop the run. They can't do it. So, nice dose of Chubb. Jacoby Brissett, today, game manager. I know you tried to be a gunslinger down Miami. You see how that worked out for you. Okay? It doesn't work. Okay? That's not you. Be who y'all are. I think they find their identity. They go to Buffalo. They take care of business.
I would not be surprised that Cleveland goes into Buffalo and wins for sure. I would not be surprised there. I'm going to go bold prediction. I got the Colts beating the Eagles in Indianapolis. I think they'll keep that momentum there with Jeff Saturday. They'll win their first home game under the new head coach there, the interim head coach. It was very controversial pick adding him on, but I think he'll take the win there in front of the home crowd there in Indianapolis. Justice, my brother, thanks for coming on. Come back anytime.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you inviting me. I appreciate talking to you. All right, Kevin, I appreciate y'all.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. You got a good thing going here. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Everyone, you've been listening to the Purple Huddle podcast. Miami, Seattle, Tampa Bay, and Jacksonville fans all have the week off. Enjoy your bye week. Be easy, everyone.